This time last year, I did have the pleasure of attending the conference and more to update delegates on sort of three things. Gaelfast and the background to it, a proposed approach to delivery as it was then, and what would be the priorities for action over the last 6 to 12 months. I'm glad to be here tonight to report to everyone in the room that 2019 has been an exceptional year for Antrim GA, specifically in terms of laying strong foundations for the journey ahead. So Damon referred to 4 years left. I have a different perspective on that in terms of achieving outcomes. Outcomes to be achieved are a medium to long-term arrangement, up to a maximum of 10 years or more. But focus specifically on tonight's presentation, I want to focus on 2 to 3 areas of success relating to 3 broad areas. 1 is education, 2, engagement, and 3 is excellence. So keep those 3 words and themes in your head as we move through the presentation. In terms of education, for those who do not know, we have forged a strong strategic alliance with St Mary's University College Belfast. For those who don't know St Mary's, it's one of the most prestigious teacher training colleges on the island of Ireland, in the UK and beyond. And the partnership agreement with the college has allowed for Antrim GA and Gaelfast to be relocated into the centre of the campus, which is on the Furrows Road, about 1.5 miles from Caisson Park, a place where hopefully myself and my team will be in the next 3 to 4 years. It's also opened up access to on-site facilities and services, trainee teachers and leaders who would be deployed to a number of primary schools across Belfast, Antrim, and the north of Ireland. But most importantly, it has opened an opportunity for us to engage with industry experts, people in the world of education who know what needs to be done, when and how. And these are people who have a passion and a commitment to promote Gaelic games and to promote Irish language and culture. The partnership has opened up many new doors for ourselves. New doors in terms of engagement with post-primary schools, primary schools, FEHE, all of whom have supported ourselves in our endeavours to try and increase levels of engagement and involvement in Gaelic games. Not in words, in action. And one new door has been opened, certainly in Belfast, Antrim, and in the north of Ireland, is an engagement with the education sector, state sector. And for those who do not know, the state sector in the north of Ireland are schools, particularly primary schools and post-primary schools, which are non-Catholic. They don't promote and support the GAA. And Stranmillis University College is a college that trains and supports trainee teachers to go into state schools across the north of Ireland and beyond. And there was such a demand for the training and support from ourselves that there were 2 courses had to be organised during this year, again with the support of Pat Culhane, to deliver the course to those students. It's a start, and we know we have to go much further. Carmel very eloquently covered 5-star, and I'm not going into any great detail now in around that. All I want to do is to say thank you to Pat Daly, Pat Culhane, Charlie Harrison, and Jimmy Dara. Without their leadership and support for ourselves in terms of implementing the 5-star initiative in Belfast and Antrim, it wouldn't have happened. Certainly not to the level that we've achieved so far. In terms of impact, we had 2 phases to the 5-star centre initiative in Belfast and across Antrim. First phase was a pilot phase that looked to target and support 16 primary schools across Belfast and Antrim. And on the left-hand side of the slide, you'll see a number of output targets which were achieved in 2019. 170 teachers and trainee teachers were trained. Over 5,000 children were actively involved in GA activities. Over 100,000 hours of moderate to vigorous activity was delivered. All good signs. But we also know there are a number of lessons to be learned in relation to any programme that's delivered. So an impact evaluation was undertaken by a colleague of mine, Dr. Kieran Kearney, who you'll hear more from tomorrow. And that impact evaluation identified 4 to 5 key lessons to be learned before we rolled out the 5-star centre initiative in 2020. And one of the successes of the initiative so far is that there's been a 400% increase in the number of schools that have signed up to the initiative. for 2020. And on the right-hand side of the slide, you'll see some of the output targets, many of which are ambitious, but most certainly achievable in terms of 2020. We've had great work undertaken with primary schools, but we do know there's a significant amount of work to be done with post-primary schools. And we've formed new positive working relationships with principals, with key leaders within those post-primary schools within Antrim. At this point in time, we're working with 23 in total. But don't listen to the views of myself, listen to the view of a senior teacher in a post-primary school, one of the largest in West Belfast.
Siobhan, what do you think of tonight?
I thought it was an excellent event, a very good presentation and great support from the parents and the boys and the schools as well and all the organisations. Gaelfast have done a brilliant job. They're a fabulous support to St Mary's. Talking personally from our own point of view in St Mary's, Paul has been in and out of our school, helping our boys, guiding us, supporting us, putting the boys in the right direction. But do you know, I'm impressed with the boys, the discipline, and how that impacts on all aspects of their lives. Sport is very, very important in St Mary's, but when you use the discipline of sport and the skills that they're taught through sport and apply that to all aspects of their lives, it can only be good. So I see great strides ahead for Gaelfast. They're doing a great job.
What sort of feedback are you getting from parents about it?
Well, the parents have to work very hard, as you know. They have to bring the boys to a lot of events. They have to go to a lot of training. So there's a big commitment from parents. And I see parents really stepping up to that because they see the benefits of that at home with the boys. They see happy boys working hard, enjoying sport, and also integrating with a range of other boys from other schools and other environments. You've got boys who from rural backgrounds, urban backgrounds, all working together. And that is great training for boys. Great training for them to be able to work with other schools and also know that while we want the goal to win, sometimes you don't win and you have to congratulate another team, and that inspires them to do better for the next time. So I think there are great advantages with the whole setup of Gaelfast. I think we as school managers and leaders can learn a lot from what Gaelfast has done in a very short amount of time.
Outside of working with the education sector, we have put a significant amount of time and energy into meaningful engagement, not tokenism engagement, meaningful engagement with key individuals and stakeholders who have a role to play in changing the fortunes of Antrim, and specifically Belfast. Over the last 6 to 8 months, we've made great strides in a number of areas. For example, on the top right-hand side of the screen, or the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see stakeholder engagement on the slide. What we did last year, we engaged with 40 clubs and around 120 senior officials within those clubs. I spent 2 hours with those senior officials with a view to identifying the needs and priorities of Antrim. On the right-hand side, you see the club membership survey, the largest and most comprehensive survey on club members ever undertaken in Antrim, and I would suggest Ulster. We received just over 2,200 responses, and certainly the information gathered through that will provide us with the evidence base that we need to make some informed decisions for the future. We've also engaged with GA units at a national, provincial and local level with a view to identifying better ways of delivering on a games development programme in the very environments that we have, whether it be in club, in schools and in counties. And at the bottom of the slide, you'll see our approach to working with and supporting new partners. This year, we identified a number of key partners that we needed to work with to deliver on priorities that our stakeholders told us were important. And those priorities around women and girls, as Orla has already alluded to, and also working with and supporting children with autism and children with a disability, both physical and learning. We've established 2 working groups. We've established a working group involving key representatives from all codes on the Women in Gaelic Games group, the WINGS group, affectionately called. And we also have a number of senior representatives from government departments, Sport Northern Ireland, Disability Sports Northern Ireland, Autism NI, Ulster Council GA, with a view to delivering on a project that will provide children with autism and children with a disability, learning and physical, with opportunities to be involved in our clubs and in our communities. We didn't rush it. We spent a significant amount of time gathering the information. We're in the midst of a major club audit with Ulster Council GAA, and our ambition is to have a 100% response rate, certainly in Antrim, 52 clubs, in terms of understanding the needs and priorities of clubs. All this information will be used to inform the development of a Gaelfast plan, an outcomes-based plan, which will be delivered over a 10-year period. Not a 4-year period, Damien, it's a 10-year period or more, because that's what's required to bring about change, meaningful change. I thought I'd share with you 2 key pieces of information that I think will interest most people in the audience, and particularly Orla, in the context of writing up her PhD and getting it submitted. I looked at 2 key themes: GAA influences within Antrim and in Belfast. Another theme, which is the most dominant code in Belfast and in Antrim. So in terms of the GAA influences, you'll see from the slide, over 2/3 of club members reported that parents and friends were the most important factors influencing the decision to join a GAA club. Now, you may think it's a very obvious thing to say, but how many families, particularly new families, have come in here to the island of Ireland, are not actively involved in GAA clubs? What can we do to target new families in our communities to get them more involved? We talk about being inclusive clubs, but are we really inclusive? Because the membership survey, certainly in Antrim and Belfast, is saying that we're not. And the same would be true of friends. Many in the room have sons and daughters, granddaughters, grandsons, who are in classrooms with friends who aren't part of a GAA club. What can we do to equip your son, your daughter, who's already involved with a GAA club, to encourage your children to become involved, other children to become involved? So the message is, what can we do to harness the level of influence that a family, that a friend, that a brother or sister has? Second key finding is around participation by code. And for those, I know there are many people from Antrim in the room tonight, this may not surprise you, but in terms of participation by code, Gaelic football is the most dominant code for club members in terms of playing, coaching, volunteering, and spectating. But look, hurling and camogie still have a profile, but we need to do more. If you consider the other codes in terms of handball and rounders, low levels of participation, and a significant amount of work that needs to be done to try and drive levels of participation up in those codes. And I promise to finish on this slide, and it's around excellence. And there may be people in this room that are probably thinking, what can we learn from Antrim in terms of games development, in terms of, what are the ingredients of success? And if you take the measure as in performance on the field of play, particularly of our senior teams, you'd probably have a fair question to ask. That's fine. But I'm actually here to answer the question. Excellence, as you showed in the second slide, is only one part of the jigsaw. Only one part. And in order to create a culture, which has been referred to a number of times tonight, of long life enjoyment and involvement in the GAA, certainly in my context in Belfast and Antrim, we can't accept mediocrity in any way, shape, or form. We can't accept it. We have to strive for excellence in everything that we do, whether it be in terms of policy strategy, whether it be in terms of governance, whether it be in terms of games development. And the job that I have isn't an easy job. I was 20 years in a public body, Sport Northern Ireland. Loved every minute of it because I was involved in sport. But this is what I love. This is what I do. This is what I volunteer in doing. It's about the GAA. But I won't be able to change the fortunes of Antrim and Belfast by myself. One project like Casement Park, capital project Casement Park, isn't going to change it. One project like Gaelfast isn't going to change it. But I tell you, all things together, you have a real chance of delivering on positive outcomes. You really do. So my call tonight would be, give me your support. Gaelfast, an investment in Gaelfast, is a national priority. It's a priority for me, it's a priority for our county, it's a priority for our province. But there's no short-term fix to what we have. No short-term fix at all. And the news of Casement Park, which came out just today, in terms of we're moving the pace, that is a shot in the arm that we need. Because Antrim needs a home, Ulster needs a provincial stadium, and we need a place to call our own. I'm going to finish off with this. It's a minute and a half, and I'm within the time frames, as I understand it. It's from an influential person within Antrim, a guy called Tony Shivers. I only met him just last year. I've never met a more influential and a person in terms of getting things done. Have a listen.
St Paul's, Ben McLaren, St Mary's Grammar School.
Tony, there's a lot of agencies coming into play here tonight, and one of the most important ones, of course, the Saffron Business Forum. What do you think of it all, and how do you think tonight went?
I thought tonight was absolutely outstanding. I couldn't believe the colour, the parents there, the young people there. And Saffron Business Forum was about trying to raise money through the business community to invest in things, I guess, and it's great to see a great return on our investment, and long may it last. Absolutely brilliant night.
Do you think there's a momentum there?
Oh, absolutely, there's a momentum there. But everything, they keep talking about the sleeping giant in Antrim, and I think perhaps maybe just have awoken.
And what do you think about Gaelfast in the future? What would you like to see, or what's going to happen next?
I would like to see Gaelfast in small steps. This is the first year, but I'd like to see it expanded out, and they're trying, I know, into secondary schools. We've got to get the gap between the primary school and the secondary school. There's a void in there, which they're trying hard to do. Big buy-in with teachers in this here, which is massive. Teachers who missed out in the first 5-star initiative are now getting on board, and I think it's the single best thing that's happened in Antrim in a right number of years.
And does it fit in with everything the Saffron Business Forum is doing as well and moving Antrim forward?
Oh, it definitely fits in. It's investment. We want to go out to companies, and people would say they have a CSR, which is corporate social responsibility, and we can stand up at a lunch or whatever and say, this is what your money does, is invest in tonight's to get in here. People sit like, job done. Very happy. Job done, job started.
Okay, so job started. Certainly more to do. Damien has asked me just to finish off just 30 seconds on one key development that came out today, and it's the announcement of new draft proposals for the re-establishment of our government in the north of Ireland, which would be a tremendous development for ourselves. There was a document which was circulated just today, which included a number of proposals in terms of asking the 5 political parties in the north of Ireland to sign up to. And certainly within those draft proposals, there's reference to the development of Kisman Park, which is tremendous for ourselves. In December 2013, there was a decision to fund all 3 stadia, including Kisman Park, and for a number of different reasons, we haven't just got there. But the tremendous amount of work has been undertaken by the GAA, by Ulster Council GAA, by Antrim GAA, departments to keep things moving has been tremendous. And I'm hoping in the next couple of days, we'll get a major announcement in terms of those draft proposals being signed up to. And in the next 3 to 4 years, you'll see Kisman Park, but most importantly, you'll see myself and my team driving games development forward in that stadium. Thanks for your time. All the very best.